All right. Breaker Bros are doing another mock draft. This time we're going to play trade hypothetical. There's been a lot of talk about Deshaun Watson possibly getting traded. So we thought maybe let's have a little fun with it. Let's come up with a scenario that is reasonable. Maybe it's not likely, but likely is not fun. Let's just see what happens. So to lay out the trade, just looking at draft assets, the Jets, I think, have what it takes to get Deshaun Watson. They have a lot of first-round picks. They have 2 this year, 2 next year. The Jets are not a particularly good team, so their draft pick this year is high. Number 2, they also own both of Seattle's first-round picks in the 2021 draft and 2022 draft. So as the first part of the trade, Deshaun Watson goes to the Jets. The Jets, as part of trade compensation, send both of their 2021 first-round picks to the Texans. So that gets us to 2 first-round picks. And, reading and listening to other people talk, seems like the going price, at least projected for Deshaun Watson, is for 4 first-round picks. Okay, so we got 2 of the 4. And then also the Jets will send their 2022 first-round pick that they're receiving from the Seattle Seahawks. So that gets us the 3 first-round picks. To make the 4th first-round pick, the acquisition of Deshaun Watson basically makes Sam Darnold expendable. He was a high first-round pick a few years ago, so he has some value. So let's send let's send Sam Darnold to a quarterback-needy team. Probably towards the end of the first round. To me, the team that makes the most sense is the Chicago Bears, because I think you could argue that Sam Darnold is an upgrade over Mitchell Trubisky. I think they'd be moving on from Mitchell Trubisky anyways, based on the contract situation. For our scenario, all that matters is Sam Darnold will be wearing a Bears jersey, and the Bears 2021 first-round pick goes to the Houston Texans. If you don't think that's realistic, let's pretend that maybe the Jets also throw in their 3rd-round pick in 2021, or the 4th-round pick in 2021, or some other pick to make this happen. But the end result is that we'll run through the first round of the 2021 draft, and the Houston Texans will be picking 3 times. And let's run this as though we're the Houston Texans general manager, and see if we end up at least as good as we would have been had we kept Deshaun Watson, or maybe see if we feel as though we've improved the roster based on our fake trade and our mock draft. So you got all that, Josh?
Got it.
All right, good. So you're the general manager for the Houston Texans. We're running the Pro Football Network mock draft simulator because it let us do all these funky trades to get the 3 picks to Houston. And we're just going to be mocking out this draft quickly as the Houston Texans and see what we end up with in the first round. So bye-bye Deshaun Watson. You're now part of Gang Green, and Houston has a clean slate. So general manager for Houston, what are you going to do with your number 2 pick?
Well, I think it's kind of obvious that we're probably going to go for a quarterback. All right, let's see if there's any offers, though. You never know.
Yeah, is the phone ringing?
Let's see. I'm not seeing anything, but here, let me see. Wait. No, I guess there's no trade offers. All right, let's just go ahead
There
and
you
get
go.
started. So and honestly, I think after all that, I think at this point we're in a kind of like a complete rebuild mode. So I would imagine if you do all this, you let go of a quarterback. You have two potential quarterbacks that, in my opinion, could definitely be franchise quarterbacks, especially at this point in the draft. To me, it would either have to be between Zach Wilson and Justin Fields.
And I think it's worth saying at this point that like neither one of us thinks that like if we were the GM, we wouldn't want to trade Deshaun Watson. I don't think because I think I would bet on Deshaun Watson being better than anybody in the draft. I don't know if you think you would go that far over the next 5 years for sure. So this is basically Deshaun Watson's like, look, I'm not playing for you, so you better trade me. So the hand's been forced. So
Yeah. So yeah, I think, and I think 4 first round picks makes sense to move it. I mean, if you're the Houston Texans, if you have the potential, you get 3 first round picks, that would make so much sense. So I think that's why in this scenario it kind of works. And I suspect there is going to be a trade. From the sounds of it, it does look like there's going to be a trade. So I guess really it just comes between Zach Wilson and Justin Fields, who's got the better grades. I feel I with Houston and how everything's set up, I would imagine. You know what? I think they would actually go for Justin Fields. And the reason why I say that is because the head coach that they just hired comes from Baltimore. So I see a lot of similarities between maybe Justin Fields and what he can do, and Deshaun Jackson, or not Deshaun Jackson, but
Lamar.
I'm sorry, yeah, Lamar Jackson. Sorry. So I think now, obviously, I think maybe Justin Fields maybe has a better arm overall, and then maybe Lamar Jackson's probably more dynamic with the feet, but they're kind of the similar molds. I think they would actually go with Justin Fields based off of, I think maybe Zach Wilson might be a little bit more of a polished quarterback, and maybe a better thrower. But if you're based off of the head coach, I think it would make sense that they would take Justin Fields. I'm not sure if you would feel the same way.
Well, I mean, to me, it's like if you look at it from Houston's perspective, it's like Justin Fields, like, you know, Deshaun Watson forces his way out of town. You know, Justin Fields is not that different in terms of, you know, skill set, right? You know, he's Justin Fields, you know, from what I've seen watching Ohio State, looks like he can make all the throws. He's a good runner.
Justin Fields may actually have a better arm, like power wise, maybe not necessarily accuracy, but
yeah, I mean, I just like, I remember the one thing I remember about Deshaun Watson in college is when they played Alabama. I know it was in the playoff. I can't remember if it was in the title game, but I mean, Alabama lit him up and he didn't back down. And I saw a little bit of that in Justin Fields against Clemson. He got lit up and he kept going, kept fighting through it. So to me, I agree with the Justin Fields pick. If I'm like Houston general manager, like my number one preference would be keep Deshaun Watson, keep the proven player in the NFL. But if I had to pick somebody to replace him, I can't think of someone better than Justin Fields to replace him. So I think that's a good pick.
And I would also say if you're later in the draft and let's see, what's his face? Trey Lance, possibly, but I would not at number 2. But yeah, I think Justin Fields would be Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. I think they're both potentially could be solid quarterbacks, but just based off the head coach hire, I think they selected that head coach because they thought they would mesh well with Deshaun Jackson or Keep on, I want to say Deshaun Jackson, but oh my god, Deshaun Watson.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, yeah, because there's Deshaun Jackson, but it's Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson is, is old now, but
yeah,
he's a good receiver. He's fast.
He's still playing though, right? Or was? Is he coming?
I can't remember.
He was on the Eagles roster. Yeah, but I'm not sure if he played that many games.
I mean, yeah, there's the Eagles wide receivers did not do much this season. So.
All right, well let's go ahead and put Justin Fields on the board. I like it.
Boom.
Oh wow, Dolphins got Penny.
Waddle goes to the Bengals.
Really?
Trey Lance goes 7. I think that the algorithm hasn't updated. I don't think that you pick Trey Lance after you traded for Goff.
Ooh.
Okay.
Offer.
Well, now you're at 20 in the catbird seat, Mr. Houston Texans general manager.
We have 3 offers. Hold on. Let's see. We got Buffalo 30 and next year's second round. Basically, we would get the 23rd and the 30th. No. I'm not. Possibly, but that's next year doesn't help tempting. You. Yeah, but I'm make it this year. Absolutely, that would be. Maybe that would be too.
Yeah, well, maybe you counter.
Let's see, maybe. Is there any way I could just look at the? Yeah, here. Let me. Yeah. Let me look at the prospects real quick. I want to see what we have on the board real quick. Mac Jones is on the board. Obviously, we're not going to take him.
I'd hope not. So I guess all the elite wide receivers are off the board now, right?
Yeah, see. Yeah, okay, so let's do this. Let's try this. Let's counter. Boom. They do. Whoa. Oh. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Nice
well,
move. You picked up another second round pick this year. You're quite the GM.
Man, we're just. I feel like Miami right now. Let's go. Whoa, the Bengals
traded back in. Wow.
Okay.
Pretty froggy.
Another trade offer. Wow. Let's see what we got here. Now I want to see. We could pick up a tackle, a running back. You know what? It is tempting to keep stockpiling picks, but I think realistically they're going to want to address the edge because I don't foresee JJ Watt staying. So I think
I mean you said it earlier, right? You're in full rebuild mode. So yeah, I mean like high paid veterans don't make sense because you're looking to peak, a few years from now. So, and frankly, an elite player like JJ Watt maybe doesn't want to stick around, right? Maybe he's like, well, Watson's gone. You got a rookie quarterback. I've been playing for a few years. Go ahead and trade me too.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm going to go with PFN's draft board. I'm just going to base off a need and what I feel like where we're kind of out. Sometimes, the best way to counter a really good quarterback is a really good pass rush. So I think we're kind of hitting both spectrums so far. So I think just based off a need, like I said, the other trade offers are tempting, but I think the move right here is to take the best available player based off a need, which would be the edge, and then hopefully we can get a decent receiver later in this first round.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Damn, Rams. They're desperate for their first round pick. I don't really see them doing that because they seem to hate their first round picks.
Maybe they're going to trade it for something else.
All right, let's see what's on the board. Sucks because receiver. They took a receiver. I was eyeing.
I mean, I feel like the Houston Texans had an offensive line problem this year. I mean, they have. I mean, obviously they addressed it with Laramie Tunsil. They paid a lot for him, but I mean, he wasn't all pro this year. But I don't know if the interior of their line was all that great. So I don't know if you go interior offensive line here or if you,
well, I mean,
address another need.
Well, and based off of draft history, they could also go by linebacker. But I could also see them taking a tackle. You got to protect your investment. So, in my mind, I could either see linebacker based off of the board and how this has played out, or the tackle. I can't believe Mac Jones is actually still on the board. I don't see Mac Jones getting past the Steelers, but I honestly don't see him getting past the Patriots.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, I know you were saying they're possibly 5 or 6. Yeah, so I'm thinking. I think tackle makes sense. I think we take the tackle.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at our results here.
Yeah, so we got Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
And then we traded our 20th pick to gain a 30th pick and then an additional second round pick.
Right.
So then we picked up the best available edge rusher at 23, and then at 30 we took the best available lineman.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say after this, I would probably, for 2021, would probably still rather have Deshaun Watson, but, you picked up an additional second round pick. You've got another first round pick coming next year. So, you've entered full rebuild mode. You picked up some pieces, and really, I guess it all hinges on the quarterback, right?
Yeah, and then maybe if there's a way for them to leverage maybe a receiver too out of this. That's kind of, I feel like for them to really hit this out of the park is if they can get their quarterback, either the best available edge or tackle, and then get some type of receiver in the first round. I think that's how they knock it out of the park. But the way it seems like most of our mocks are playing out is that a lot of the good receivers, a lot of the good quarterbacks, they're going early. So yeah, because I'm not even sure how many first round receivers, or how many receivers have first round grades this year. I know last year was pretty crazy, but
yeah, well, I think I know it's top heavy. I mean, you got Waddle, Jamar Chase, and Smith, right?
That's sorry, I just realized Mac Jones went to Tampa. That would be crazy. That would still make sense. Even if Tom Brady plays a year or two, to have him sit behind Tom Brady and then come, that would be like the perfect scenario for Tampa. But there's no way that he lasts that long.
No, I don't think so.
I really don't see him getting past Steelers.
Yeah, I think Trask and Mac Jones both go in the 20s, by the 20s. I just think that there's so much quarterback movement and there's so much uncertainty. You know, of course, then again, that could be an argument against it, right? I mean, a few free agents, lots of other trades potentially. So I mean, so there's I guess there's the first round mock draft. Overall, I would say Houston Texans. I would still prefer to keep Deshaun Watson. What do you think, Josh? Do you like your chances with this crop and with these extra picks that we haven't used, or do you think you're still better off with Deshaun Watson?
Definitely probably better off with Deshaun Watson. That's why, like, in order for this trade to go through, I mean, you're literally going to have to move mountains. It's going to be the biggest trade in NFL history in terms of, like, draft picks and value and all that. So, I mean, it sounds like it's going to happen. I hope it does, because it's more entertaining that ways. But yeah, in grand scheme of things, no. You don't want to potentially get rid of a top 5 quarterback who's really just starting to enter his prime, right? And you always go with the person proven. But in order for this draft scenario to happen, I think you have to acquire a lot of first round picks. But yeah, I mean, I think through the scenario, I think it would have been a little bit better if we could got a receiver, because I think that's another really big need. Because who was our top receiver this year? It was I can't think of his name. I know he came from.
Was it Brandon Cooks?
Might have been Cooks. I thought it was a guy from. I thought he came from Miami.
Really?
Could be wrong. But anyways, they traded Hopkins, which was like crazy at the time, because it seemed like they pretty much gave up nothing to and they took
that and they took on David Johnson's contract.
Yeah, as I say, they took his contract, which was like,
I mean, no knock on David Johnson as a player, but I mean,
but in terms of
pretty onerous.
Business, you don't take on dead weight in terms of contracts. So it's just, especially in the NFL. NFL, like,
yeah, I guess the other question is, okay, if you redid the scenario, could you have flipped the 20th and the 23rd pick to get high enough to get one of those, get back into the top 9 to get either Waddle, Chase, or Smith? Should we run it back and go for the wide receiver and see if we can snag one of the quarterbacks late?
I mean, we could try.
Yeah. Okay. So now you propose a trade as the Houston Texans, and you try to get back into the top 10, right? So you got to propose a trade, and maybe we go for the 3rd pick. See if we can trade 20 and 23 for the 3rd pick.
There's no way.
Okay, well, where do you think it would land? 6?
I mean, realistically, if you're looking at the board, I mean, if you're trying to trade with the Dolphins, then you have to give up like the 20th, 23rd, this.
Too much.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it would make more sense. Maybe like Dallas might make sense.
That's probably not soon enough.
Well, but you got to think, like, all these other,
I think 6, 7, 8. So maybe try 20 and 23 for the 6th pick. We go 20, 23, and then give up our first for next year for the 6th.
Well, there you go.
Okay. So now, resume. But now you can pick your quarterback.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now you have a pick of some wide receivers there.
For me, I'm taking Jamar Chase all day. I think me personally, I think he's the best.
Okay, well then you pick them.
So essentially, you would get Jamar Chase and
Justin Fields.
I guess technically it could have been what's his face? Could have been Zach Wilson or Waddle.
Yeah.
That
To me, I like this. I like this trade better. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll restart, but I'm going to restart with, one of the top QB prospects and one of the top wide receiver prospects from this class, and then start my full rebuild, right? Because you get those two young players, and then you go from there, right?
yeah. That makes sense to me. I would rather have that or this than our other draft.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're much better off. Your offense probably won't be better year one, but year two, year three, now you got some potential, right? It's almost like you undo your last 2 years of mistakes, right? Like trading away your elite receiver, pissed off Deshaun Watson, made him want to leave. Now he's gone. So to fix it, you've got two guys that could potentially be equally as, maybe not equally as good or direct replacements, but be like, elite players at the QB and wide receiver position, which is where you were at the end of 2019, right? Which seems kind of dumb as an organization, but there you have it.
Sometimes it's better to start over. But
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, cool. Well, that was a fun hypothetical. We'll keep playing around with this. I feel like this is going to be a really fun off season, and I really enjoy using these mock draft tools. So it's a lot of fun. So we'll see if we can come up with another fun scenario to put out there again. So if you're watching this, please leave some comments. Let us know who you would have picked. Let us know where we messed up. Tell us where you have some better ideas. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the feedback. Please subscribe and catch us again. Until next time, we hope you catch us later.